Hello, and welcome back. This is Jessa Francis, your host. I have a special little episode for you today. As you may have seen, the name of this podcast has changed from the Empowered Path podcast to the Caim Circle podcast. And I wanted to take the time today to dive into what the heck is a Caim and why this change. So to tell you a little more about the whole naming, the branding, the discovery of this entire thing, back, goodness, over 6 months now, I decided for sure 100% I wanted to start a podcast, and I actually wanted to start it back in January, but I was having this horrible time trying to name this thing, and I was dealing with a lot of fear because I thought what people really wanted from me was all of the alcohol-free knowledge that I have. And yes, I am an alcohol-free beverage consultant. So I thought for sure I could create a podcast around the alcohol-free world. I could dive into each product. I could go into all the categories and all the product knowledge and bring on all the brands, and I could create a whole alcohol-free podcast. But then I realized once I got really, honest with myself, what I want to do in my life and what I want to bring forward in this world. Yes, I love Untoxicated. That is has a huge part of my heart. The whole alcohol-free space, this owning your relationship with alcohol, all of it is very important to me. But I am beyond a non-alcoholic beverage consultant, I am a holistic writing coach and a trauma-informed yoga teacher. I am a mother. I am a jack of all trades in so many ways. And if I was going to really stick to something long-term, like I want this podcast to be, then I need to come at it with all of me. I need to come at it with that holistic lens, right? The mind, the body, the energy. And what really drew me into the alcohol-free beverage space in the first place was the mindfulness part of it, right? This idea of owning your relationship with what you consume. But we're not just consuming drinks. We're not just consuming alcohol. We're consuming relationships, conversations, food, television, social media, nature, or the city. We're consuming all the things all the time, and that really influences our relationship, of course, with alcohol and with all the other vices and issues that come up, right? And I want to tackle it all. So at first I thought I was going to name it A Mindful Spirit, and I thought that was kind of cute. It went into the mindfulness, it went into the spirit side of things, and then also the spirit as in the alcohol or non-alcoholic product. But for some reason, it just didn't work for me either. And I knew I wanted to dive even deeper, even more into what I want to bring forth into the world, which is I want to help people feel confident, clear, and empowered, right? I want to set them on the right path. And I want to help people feel like they can own their relationship with alcohol, own their relationship with life. And so I named it the Empowered Path Podcast. But then I was getting help with, editing and all of these things that come with podcasting. And I realized that there were like 6 or 7 other The Empowered Path podcasts. And I was like, you know what? I feel like it's being named Jessica all over again. I want something me. I want something unique. And I meditated on it and I let it sit with me, and the Caim Circle came up. I actually have this symbol tattooed on my hand. It connects. It's actually a half a Kim, when the other half is on my father's hand. And when we put our hands together, it becomes this whole beautiful braided circle. And if anybody's on YouTube, you can kind of see it here. But I knew that I wanted to really, really make this my own, and to stop worrying about all the things, and just the name itself, it's kind of hard to say. It's written Caim and pronounced more of like a Kym. It's a Scottish Gaelic word that represents sanctuary. It represents protection and unconditional love. And whether you're here with me listening to the podcast, or you are doing a workshop with me, or going into an event, or taking a retreat, or being mentored by me, I want you to feel like you are stepping inside a sanctuary there, where you can show up bravely, where you know you are safely held in a trauma-informed container, that there is no judgment, that there is compassion and true, authentic love. And that's what this symbolizes for me. And so I wanted to take the time today to really share that with you, to share what a Kim is, why the name change, what this all represents to me, and just let you guys in on that portion of all of this. I mean, starting up your own company, 2 companies now, it's not for the faint of heart. It takes a lot of dedication, time. It takes pivots. It takes perseverance. It takes adaptability. And, I'm always, changing up fonts and colors and the name and all of the things. And I'm allowing myself to do that. And I want you to allow yourself to make these alterations in your life when you need to. Yesterday, depending on when you're listening to this, yesterday for me at this moment was June 21st. And it was a Capricorn strawberry full moon. And I sat down and I did my normal full moon little ceremony. And for anyone who has done a ceremony or has not done a ceremony, it's really what it comes down to every time is deciding what it is you want to embrace more fully, inhaling in the good, and actually reflecting on what is working well, what you are grateful for, what you want to continue with, celebrating your wins, but then also being there to, okay, what is not working? What negative thoughts am I holding? What do I need to release? What do I need to exhale? Right? So I really truly believe in this practice, whether you are in astrology and all of that or not. Really, it's just the practice of understanding that there is an ebb and a flow to life, that there is a change, and that change is going to come, and that it is okay to release certain things, to embrace certain things. And so, just like with this name change, allow yourself to listen in, to do that, to take the time to breathe, and to love yourself and honor yourself enough to know that we have seasons, that the leaves will fall, and that we get new buds every year with new life. And that there is a constant need to release and to embrace. And so this is something I'm letting shift as I move. And I know that the people here with me, they see me. and they know that my heart is here fully, that I am 100% authentic, and that I am going to change. I have changed a lot. And as I say that, I also want to say that life, yes, life is a constant changing, always moving thing. One of the main mantras that I have had to get me through has been this too shall pass, right? This idea that I need to hold close everything that I love, and to be present, and to notice and be here in every moment, because it won't last. And then to also at the same time think that, when things are hard and things are difficult and I'm grieving and all of those things, that will pass as well. That the good times come, the bad times come, and then they go. But, and this is something I teach in my sadhana every week. If you are not already in the Caim Circle book club on Facebook, please join, because every Sunday morning I hold a sadhana, which is a nervous system reset, if nothing else. It is a place to come breathe, to come meditate, to get reconnected with the part of yourself that is permanent, right? So everything in life, it's changing, it's going, it's moving, it's flowing. But there is something within you that you were born with, it came with you. And it's still there, and it's never changed. It is a permanent part of you. And we need to resettle back into that, into the stillness, into the peace, into that beautiful, limitless well inside of love and light. And that is what in my yoga practice we call moving into the seat of the witness. There's when we're talking to ourselves, like I'm talking to myself all the time. Well, who is I and who is myself, as Eckhart Tolle would say. And I need to recognize that, there's the ego part of me, and then there's that witness part of me, the part of me that is just watching all the craziness happen, watching the world spin around, that it is always still and calm, and it is there when I need it. And to actually take the time to move into that space, to reconnect with that permanent still part of us. And so my my deepest hope is that you would join me in those practices every Sunday morning, every early Sunday morning before chaos happens, and we're getting ourselves calmed down after a long week, getting ourselves prepared for the next week. It's a spiritual practice. And even if you're not a spiritual person, I believe that everyone can understand that energy is real. There is an energy that you feel when you were listening to this podcast. There is an energy you feel when you were sitting with your grandmother or your partner or a friend. And it's different with each one of those individuals. There's an energy around all of us, and to recognize that energy, whether you want to call it spiritual or not, I think everyone can agree that that is real. Love is energy, right? And so within this space, this new space of mine, the Caim Circle, it's always been the Caim Circle. I still want to bring forth that same empowerment. I still want to bring forth that same sense of you are seen, you are heard, and you are loved. You, within any space with me, can feel some relief, right? That you're not being judged, that I'm not trying to sell anything other than, what I can use to provide for myself and my family, of course, right? But it's not even about that. The sadhana on Facebook and the book club, it's free. I believe that everyone should have access to peace, inner peace. Every time I hear inner peace, I think of Kung Fu Panda. But yeah, I wanted to take the time to reintroduce the podcast, to give you a little information about why I changed the name, what the name means. And yeah, and from that we'll move forward. Today's episode, I would like to invite you, whether you are driving, walking, sitting, anything, you don't have to close your eyes, you don't have to do anything, but please just take a big, deep inhale in and exhale nice and slow out. Gentle, gentle, gentle. Remember that you always have time to slow your breath, to check in with yourself, to know that this too will pass, and also that there is the witness within you, the space within you that is filled with light, that is filled with love, that is a permanent core, special, beautiful, worthy, incredibly capable part of you can check in with at any time. So I'll leave it at that for today. I want to say thank you for being here, and I will see you next week.